everybody, welcome to Dub Talk Live, brought to you by FitAid. The Warriors hold off elimination with a game where they looked in control for most of this thing, precisely what they needed. Dalton Johnson, Kerith, Burke. Dalton, just looking at some of these stats, the Warriors shot better than 51%, had 6 scores in double figures, had 29 assists on 47 makes. It was a strong and balanced offense, but yeah, most importantly, it looked like the Dubs were in control.
Exactly. This was a commanding win from the Warriors tonight at Shea Center with their backs against the wall. They played like they knew what was at stake. Everything could be at stake, right? So they went out from the attack and were the aggressors right away. That's what they needed to be. They didn't wait for anything. They didn't sit back and see how the Lakers were going to kind of game plan by any means. They were the ones that put their foot on the pedal and never let go until it was really time when all the starters from both teams were out of the game. That's really the only time that they ever kind of eased off a little bit. So a great all-around commanding win for the Warriors tonight.
Yeah, the Lakers never had a lead in the second half. The Warriors got to play this game with a lead for most of the game. And you know, we've seen some trouble spots where they've given up those types of lead, but it was never really, okay, wait a minute. As I'm saying this, I was like, it's never really in danger, but when the Lakers got it within 8, 9, 10, you're like, please, Warriors, just hang on. Look like that poised team we know you are. And they finished that way, 121-106. When we talk about aggression, we need to talk right off the top of the show about Draymond Green. Moses Moody told me he spoke to the team again, talked about the magnitude of each one of these games because they're facing elimination right now. And he said, if we win this game tonight, then the pressure goes back on the Lakers. That makes a lot of sense. What was Draymond's role in this win?
To, again, kind of be the tone setter right away, right? I know it's great to see him make a three-pointer like he did earlier, but right away he was attacking. He was averaging 6.8 points per game going into Game 5 in the series, 8 points in the first quarter.
Okay.
The Warriors are now 35-8 all-time in the playoffs when Draymond Green scores 15 or more points. A 20-point performance from Draymond Green tonight. I know offense is secondary when it comes to him, but when it's aggressive Draymond with the offense, that sets the tone for him, for the Warriors in general. And this reminded me a lot of him coming back from that suspension game, right, where he didn't wait. He said, I'm going to be the attacker right away. I'm going to be the aggressor on offense, and that can lead to his defense as well. So that's what I thought was the fact that his offense led to his defense on both sides of the floor.
Yes, and when Draymond is in a groove, those are scary days for an opponent. I had a chance to catch up with Draymond one-on-one. He arrived at 20 points, 10 rebounds in this game. Let's hear from a very excited Draymond Green. Draymond, you opened this game with a three-pointer. You arrived at 20 points, and Steve Kerr said when you score, it just adds another dimension to the game. Have opponents not figured out yet that you were a scoring threat when you want to be?
I mean, I think, you know, any time you're making a game plan, you're not going to necessarily game plan for me to score. I know that, I understand that, but there are times where I understand it's needed. And when it is needed, I try to take it upon myself to just find ways to get involved. And, you know, Steph does a great job of finding me and putting me in positions to score. And just had to be aggressive, and it worked out for us tonight.
Steve said you were aggressive. Steve said you were very excited, maybe a little too excited. Did he have to reel you in a little bit? What does that even look like?
He tried reeling me in. He pulled me to the side. He said, hey, man, Zach Zarba's going to give you a tech. And you know Zach's one of the best officials we got. I said, he is definitely one of the best officials in this league, Coach. But he's just going to have to give me a tech tonight because I'm locked in. Whatever it takes to win this game, I'm doing. And, you know, I can't dial myself back. I need all the energy and aggressiveness that I have. And if he gives me a tech, Coach, then they're just going to get a point, and I got to keep going.
The Lakers never had a lead after halftime. What was it like playing with that lead and ensuring that you guys kept it?
I mean, it was great. I think for us coming out and getting off to a good start, we immediately took the lead from like 11 to 17 or 18, and that was big for us. So you kind of want to take the hope away from them. If they come out, they cut that 11-point lead to 4 or 5 right away, you know, their spirits come up and it's reversed. And so I thought we did a really good job of coming out aggressive on both sides of the ball. And, you know, once we were able to push that lead up, you know, we can score. So it's tough to come back at times.
All right, so one game at a time. The next one is back in LA. That has been a tough place to play. What's the mentality going in?
Same mentality we went into game 4 with. I thought we went in with the right mentality and controlled the game for pretty much most of the game, and then we let it slip away there in the fourth quarter. So go in with that mindset, but take it up even another notch, knowing that it's an elimination game. They're going to give us their best shot. You go in, with a defensive mindset as far as the shots you're going to take, but ready to counter. And I think for us, understand and know what that punch is going to be and take that punch and deliver blows back.
Thank you, Draymond.
Thank you.
All right, so Draymond, bouncy in the game. He spoke in the podium room for a long time. He was nice of him to come over and talk to me. So Draymond's in a great mood, but he earned that type of thing because when the team gets a W and when the team puts themselves in a better position, that makes a lot of sense to everybody.
Yeah, it's funny because he was talking about that Zach Zarber right there, right, where 20 seconds into the game, he has a shooting foul on Anthony Davis, and you're kind of going, okay, here we go. Exactly, right? We've seen the free throw discrepancy in the series so far. It was tied 15-15 tonight, and you're going, okay, is Draymond going to get a little too high? Is he going to be at a 14 out of 10? But he was at the right kind of 14 out of 10. He was the energizer, and the Warriors followed his every lead tonight.
Well, remember earlier in the season, Draymond said he decides when he gets a technical. He walked that line tonight. No T for Draymond. All right, number 30 just sat down at the podium. Let's hear from Steph.
I heard you on TNT afterwards saying that you won this game, but you hadn't shot that well. Either you or Klay, maybe, some things do. Do you feel like this was a game where you had to win it other ways, and you feel good about that because you imagine the shooting is going to come at some point?
Yeah, our defensive mindfulness was there. Obviously, Draymond was extremely aggressive from the jump. Wiggs played amazing. GP plus 25. Like, you get contributions from everybody, and shots that you feel like you can make. And the reason you take them, a lot of confidence in them. You hope that they'll start to fall, but the fact that we can control a game from the jump the way we did, handle that run the way we did, and then close out our fourth quarter strong was exactly how, we expect to play. And just a matter, can we take it on the road and win a must-win game on Friday.
Steph, when you get so many other contributions, does it feel like a lighter load for you than, say, a game, 4 where you putting up 30 shots and running out?
Still got up 24, so it's just a matter of, picking and choosing your spots. It's not really a lighter load because you're mentally still thinking the game and trying to, counter all their defensive adjustments and what they're trying to do. And, we're running more pick and roll, but I think it's just a great vibe when everybody who has the ball, whatever the play is, whatever possession is aggressive, and, there's a lot of confidence that we can create good shots even if it's not me taking them.
Hey, Steph. Dre was talking about just how calm you were this morning. First of all, what was your mindset heading into the game? And second of all, how much confidence does it give you that in every playoff series you guys have seen since 2014, you've won or gone to the finals? It's finals or bust. So you guys have gone through and seen so many things and overcame so many things. How much confidence? Do you guys ever get phased?
I mean, yeah, it's coming off of tough losses, you get kind of shell-shocked, and you have to look yourself in the mirror and understand what adjustments you need to make, and nobody likes that feeling. So there's a sense of being phased by that, but it's, to your point, we've figured out all the puzzles in the course of our history in the playoffs, and, I was calm mostly just because you remember just to have fun and enjoy this experience and the opportunity that we have to play at this level. Like, we're competitors, and you hate to lose, and you're doing everything you can to avoid that feeling. And even down 3-1, you understand what's at stake and what the consequences are if you lose another game. We're still living in that, but it's still reminding yourself to enjoy this, enjoy the competition, enjoy the work that goes into preparing yourself mentally and physically for, each game. And then you allow yourself to get lost in the game that way. I think that's the best way to kind of approach it based on all the experiences that we've had. So, we have a lot of confidence that we can come back in this series. And until otherwise, we stay in that kind of mindset.
Steph, how much emphasis was it to play as fast as you possibly can, to just kind of run it at them as much as possible? Maybe not just for this game, but knowing that they've got a couple of guys that they really rely on, and maybe to get them running too.
I think it's up to mostly me, Draymond, JP when he's out there to do that, to push the pace. It's important just because they're at times a big team with AD. He puts a lot of pressure on you on the offensive end, so you try to create whatever advantage you can. That's a big thing, and part of that is just trying to keep them off the foul line as much as possible, just because that slows the game down and gives them free points, and they get to set their defense. So you want to get stops, but even if they do score, that is our advantage in the series, is our speed and the fact that, I can push, Draymond can push, JP can push. We got guys running the lane in transition, space on the floor. So it's hard to do, but it helps us counter what they do well.
Steph, apart from the conversations that you guys are going to have as a team, that you're going to have with the coach, what are you going to do to prepare yourself to take this momentum following to Game 6 in LA and be able to bring it back home on Sunday?
I think just kind of take stock of what's happened Game 3, 4, and tonight, what we've done well. Like even the mental preparation is, understanding that we've played well enough down there to have won, both of those games. I know Game 3 was a blowout, but the first half, there was a lot of good that we showed. And then obviously Game 4, knowing how that went. So accepting, our shortcomings there, but also understanding, we can make the necessary adjustments to hopefully get off to a good start in Game 6, give ourselves some momentum, put some pressure on them, and bring the effort and the competitiveness and the same fire we had tonight. So, that's the game plan, and again, just get lost in the game down there because it's going to be a fun atmosphere.
All right, so Steph and company already looking ahead to Game 6 because they have to. It's still an elimination game. And following along with some of the comments on YouTube right now, somebody said Steph's not really celebrating tonight, which does make sense. The Warriors can be happy about this win, but they haven't clinched the series yet. So you see a team that's trying to keep an even keel, taking care of business, now going back to LA.
Job isn't done yet. They know what they need to do. They need to kind of replicate everything from tonight and bring that to LA. We know it's been tough throughout the regular season. Obviously, in the playoffs with those 2 losses in LA, they have to have a 4-quarter performance, right? So Steph Curry understands the task at hand, and he knows that, again, the job isn't done yet.
Yes, LA, very, very hostile. The Lakers have to be thinking we're glad to go home, but the Warriors have to be thinking, well, we can push this thing to 7. All right, coming up next on Dubstock Live, brought to you by FitAid. We need to talk about a few more of the starters tonight. Excellent games for Andrew Wiggins and GP2. We'll get to that after the break.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by FitAid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. FitAid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Here he goes. Hey guys, we're back on YouTube. I'm looking at a comment from Irene that says, I'm feeling Game 6 Klay in LA vibes. Klay would love that because this series hasn't been exactly great for him, especially Games 3 and 4 in LA. He was so excited to be in LA, but the shot just wasn't there.
No, it's been a tough series for Klay Thompson. He had the one really solid game where he scored 30. I believe he was 11 for 18 from the field.
Had
earlier
6
in the
threes in
series.
that game.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
But the last few games, the shot just hasn't been there. It's felt a little forced, which could happen at times with Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
But Draymond Green said at the podium when asked about Klay Thompson, hey, I hope that they sag off of him. I hope they don't
Sure.
worry about him because once once you stop worrying about Klay Thompson, that's when like the avalanche starts to happen for him offensively, right? So it's the fact that the Warriors still believe in him so much. It's as long as the shots are in flow, we know that kind of those two late in game 4 were very much head scratchers. But as long as he's in the flow of everything, that kind of game 6 very well can happen for him.
Yeah, looking at Klay tonight, 3 of 12, 2 for 6. Made a couple of free throws, but he arrived at 10 points. Steve Kerr explained the most important thing for Klay is that he just keeps moving, because he had some frustrated moments. He smoked a dunk. He had an air ball. He had a travel call in this one. But as long as Klay can get over that initial frustration, because he shows his frustration and keeps playing, as long as he makes it a two-way game, then Klay Thompson will be okay, even if that shot isn't falling. We'll get to AD, hopefully, in the next block, in addition to Wiggins and GP2. And just want to thank everybody for tuning in, watching us on YouTube, and tossing some comments in here. We see you. Thank you. Hey, welcome back to Tough Talk Live, brought to you by Fit Aid. Feels nice to talk about Andrew Wiggins. 25 points tonight, his highest total of the postseason. And Dalton, it took him a little time to get to this point.
Yes, it did. I mean, understandably so, right? He missed 2 months. You got to kind of get your legs underneath you for that three-point shot, etc. But Steve Kerr said that this was the best game that Andrew Wiggins has played since he's been back on the court. And it's very hard to argue with that, right? I mean, if he is your second option offensively or third option offensively, that really is just a giant bonus for the Warriors. The efficiency, 10 for 18 from the field, but 7 rebounds, 5 assists.
Good
Big
man.
for Andrew Wiggins. Really, though, it was the defense kind of being on LeBron James like he has been. To score 25 points while your defensive assignment is LeBron James, that is a tip of the cap to Andrew Wiggins.
And I was just watching the video there. It's got to feel nice to hit a three-pointer with LeBron guarding you. You just hit it right in his face. But yeah, going back to that point, I mean, Andrew Wiggins missed from Valentine's Day to the final game of the regular season. Remember, his first game back was game 1, came off the bench against the Kings. But let's just understand, that's how long it's taken Andrew Wiggins. That's how much these guys deserve time and patience, because Steve Kerr did arrive at that compliment that this is the best game that he's played since he's returned, because that was a extended absence there. An aggressive Andrew Wiggins changes the complexion of the game. He made 2 3-pointers in this one, but 8 of his field goals were inside when he attacks. Good things happen when he attacks. He's an athlete.
Great things happen when he attacks. I mean, he had that put-back dunk on Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis and LeBron James combined to score 48 points.
Okay.
Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins combined to score 45. So only 3 fewer with a lot more efficiency, right? If those two guys are nearly matching LeBron and Anthony Davis with points, what a cherry on top for the Warriors. But of course, again, for me, it's the defense. There was a sequence in the fourth quarter where he picked up LeBron James super high and knocked the ball away, trailed him. It ended with a Draymond Green block on Anthony Davis. When I'm seeing that, that is telling me the Warriors are locked in right now. That is playoff basketball. That's 16-win basketball. That's championship-level basketball. That's the two-way Wiggs that we saw throughout the playoffs last year, right? And we talk so much about defense leading to offense. Those two guys right there can initiate it and kind of be the igniters for the Warriors.
Yeah, if he can start looking like last season's playoff Wiggs. Well, remember the conversation was, well, Steph is likely the finals MVP, but geez, Andrew Wiggins is really making a case for some kind of recognition. If Andrew can keep carrying this over in games, especially for game 6, another elimination game for the Warriors, Warriors have to be feeling like they're in better shape. Let's keep this defensive conversation going, because GP2 back in the starting lineup. Steve Kerr says he's always a game changer. What did he add to this game?
An absolute game changer. The athleticism that he brings to the starting lineup with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green is phenomenal, right? I mean, we talk about someone where the offense is the bonus. To get 13 points a game after you got 15 points from GP2 is absolutely huge. Look at him attacking right there on LeBron James. Right after he was being active on defense too. The starting 5 played 8. Look at, again,
Okay,
right
yeah.
there. Please explain a little bit more of that right there for me.
Anthony Davis waiting in the paint. Okay, he's got 7 inches and more than 50 pounds on him, but Gary Payton is like, no bother. We're
Exactly.
good to go. Yeah.
And that's, again, where he's so unique on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
He's an absolute difference maker. Monty talked about it, too. 27 minutes plus 25 for GP2. The starting 5 played 18 and a half minutes together on the floor. They were a plus 18.
Okay.
They outscored the Lakers 53-35. Think about that, right? What a huge difference and what a giant impact GP2 makes. In last game, he was kind of watching the fourth quarter from the bench, which, again, was a little bit of a puzzling decision.
Yeah, but we got a little bit more information about his physical state.
Right, true.
Okay.
Understandable, right?
Which
when you're not feeling that good, when you are sick, when you are literally puking in your mouth in the first quarter.
That's so gross.
Sorry for saying that on live
GP2
TV.
did say he puked in the last game.
Yes,
Yeah, we got
which,
confirmation
again,
of that.
Yeah, no thank you. But to be able to have a healthier GP2 in the fourth quarter, huge for the Warriors, right? And he started the fourth quarter, and he didn't. And he came out for at the 6:35 mark. He only rested for 50 seconds because the Lakers scored 5 points in that sequence. And Steve Kerr said, you know what? Get back in
We
there.
need you, buddy.
So, yes, GP2's athleticism was absolutely game-changing for the Warriors.
Yeah, that's how he can arrive at 27 minutes tonight because he's feeling a lot better. The tummy is settled. Okay, so a big question for game 6 is how is Anthony Davis? Okay, AD took an elbow from Looney. Kind of, it looked like it knocked him in the head, and he just didn't quite look right. So as I was going down on the floor to talk to Looney post-game, I walked by AD. He was going back to the Lakers locker room. He had a towel over his head. He had his head in his hands, actually. He just didn't quite look right. But we are following some encouraging reports post-game. Can we see the Chris Haynes report? I can summarize it. It says, according to Chris Haynes, who was the TNT reporter for this one, it seems that he has avoided a concussion and is doing much better now. Okay, that's really important to hear. We don't want injuries. We don't want guys hurt in this game. A concussion can be a very serious thing, but I think the Lakers are probably unable to say for certain tonight what AD's status will be for Game 6. But yeah, as we follow this injury, this could be a game-changing factor. This could be a really important thing for the Lakers.
Certainly. I mean, when Anthony Davis leaves on a wheelchair after that, you're kind of going, did something else happen? Did something happen to maybe a lower body? But you always have to be so cautious with anything with a head injury, right? I mean, I think about last game with Draymond when he went down and kind of whipped his head back on the floor like that.
Yes,
and you're going, okay, is there any kind of concussion protocol maybe here? Is
yeah.
he okay? So any kind of head injury, you have to be super cautious. Of course, Anthony Davis is so impactful for the Lakers. He scored 13 points in the first quarter. So you were thinking this might be a 30, 40-point kind of game for Anthony Davis. Again, his size, his athleticism can affect the game in both ways for the Lakers. So something to watch going forward because, like you said, that's a game-changing factor as well.
Yeah, we hope he gets the medical attention he needs, the time that he needs. I think the wheelchair is protocol, especially if he's feeling, and this is just me talking about things I know about a concussion, not necessarily for AD, but if you're feeling woozy or dizzy or whatever, you just take a moment to get off the floor in a good way until the medical staff can examine you. So something to follow there. For Game 6, yeah, the Warriors will be heading back to LA. So will we. Let's talk about it. Let's take a look at the schedule and wrap up the show when Dubsock Live, brought to you by FitAid, returns.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by FitAid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. FitAid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Hey everybody, thank you. Judith says, well, Dalton and Kerith, you are styling. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's always interesting to kind of scroll through these comments and just see the random stuff in there.
I love that.
First, there's an Andre Iguodala conversation that's popping.
Oh, wow.
That's popping up. Well, listen. Andre, okay, we're going to take a look at his fit, by the way, in the next block. I mean, Andre is one of those guys who has won championships here. He's always in that conversation of should he have a statue as well. Warriors fans, and I agree, feel like his Hall of Fame status is cemented. I like that. But people are wondering, are we going to see Andre? We know he's been doing more things on the court. We don't have any type of information about whether he's going to play in this series.
No, not a huge update by any means. I don't think he would. I personally don't know if he would be available for Game 6 or Game 7, but I wouldn't expect it because I haven't heard anything about a bunch of scrimmages. He would need a few of those under his belt, obviously, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But again, to even have him on the bench for a Jordan Poole, for a Moses Moody, obviously, too, for a Draymond Green, a Steph Curry, and Andrew Wiggins, he's someone who can affect the young and the old in such a unique, different perspective. So he's already having an impact no matter what. Steve Kerr and the rest of the Warriors would love to see him back in a game, especially in a playoff atmosphere. This is what Andre Iguodala was brought back for, right? So already making an impact. Fingers crossed with the Warriors that he will be back on the court.
Yeah, should the Warriors advance to the Western Conference Final, then I think we might get a little bit more news from the Warriors as far as the status for Andre. But right now, kind of in a holding pattern, although he is doing more workouts. It's just, to your point, the team isn't doing workouts right now. When they play every other day and then when they travel, there's no time to scrimmage. There's no time for any organized practice. And that's precisely what Andre would be.
Rest.
Welcome back to Dubs Talk. Travel day tomorrow. The game follows. After that, Dalton, have you booked your flight yet?
Still working on it.
Oh, no, buddy. Uh-oh. You're either on the 6 a.m.
The last minute world of a reporter.
8 p.m. Right there. All right, so the Warriors taking the game tonight, Saturday. I can't see if there's a time for that game. Usually the Saturday games are early-ish. That size is just too small for me, guys. I gotta, wait a minute. No? Okay, 7 p.m.
Yes, Friday, yeah.
Thank you.
Game 7 would be
That's
noon.
What I thought it was
Yes.
See,
yes.
this is what happens when I'm squinting at the television. There you go. Okay, we were talking about Andre Iguodala in the YouTube comments, and I think we have a picture of his fit tonight. We got to rate this fit. Dalton, would you mind going first? What do you think about my man here?
Hey, I'm giving it an A-. It is comfy. It is a little classy. It's a little casual. It hits all 3 C's right there. I'm feeling a little bit of the color right now with myself, with the tie, with the shoes. Again, I like it. It's a great 38-year-old dad fit with a little bit of flavor, and that's kind of Andre Iguodala right there.
Dad fit? Okay, so the stripes remind me of Where's Waldo a little bit meets Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I dig it. Yeah, Andre has a stylist for sure. He always kind of brings it. Okay, the Warriors have to bring it in Game 6. We had a feeling the effort here tonight at Chase Center could carry them through. Game 6 is a different animal back in LA where the Lakers have played really well. If there's one thing the Warriors can do in Game 6, what is it?
I actually want to give Jordan Poole some flowers tonight because, again, he had 9 big points in the first half, finished with 11. The previous 3 games, he combined for 11 total points.
Okay.
If he can give you those spurts of even 2, 3, 4 minutes of productive offense, huge for the Warriors.
Okay, I'm with you. Role players, keep role playing. Whole team effort, everybody locked in to see if we can get this game, this series to 7. Thank you so much for joining us for Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by FitAid. Brand new podcast coming up next. Big sigh. All right, we have some fire emojis in there. Mike G says, Game 7 Warriors go nuclear. Just ask Sac or Houston or OKC. Mike, you're right. If the Warriors can get this to 7, feels like the pressure becomes, it's on LA. They've had 2 leads in this series, and if they can't get it done in 6, Game 7 is a toss-up. Game 7 is one of the best things in sports. Whew, that would be wild, and it would be back here because the Warriors have home court advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I almost think that the pressure is really on the Lakers right now. Even in Game 6, I mean, the Warriors have been there. Sure, LeBron James has been there. Anthony Davis has been in the playoffs a handful of times, but LeBron is the champion. So is Anthony Davis in the bubble. We understand that. He's a great great player. But the Warriors, they can just lean on that experience. It's a completely different kind of experience. The playoffs are a completely different kind of beast. So we knew, obviously, they had to get this game, but to play a complete game like they did in Game 5 at Shea Center, huge for the Warriors. Their whole mentality has been, after going down 3-1, one game at a time. It's all they can control, right? No matter what, after a Game 5, the best any team can be up is 3-2, right? So that's the mentality I think that the Warriors had. They're going to take it one play at a time, one game at a time. You can't rush anything. And that's, again, what the offense was tonight with that energetic defense as well.
Yeah, too early to celebrate anything here, but the Warriors do have to feel a little better about the position that they're in as the series shifts to LA. All right. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Like I said, we'll be doing a podcast next. Look for that coming up soon.